Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Am I the A-hole? Story 1. Wibta, if I move to Germany without my dad's approval. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I'm coming here for advice, for hopefully an unbiased answer if I'm being the a-hole here. So for context, I, 18F, was born in Germany and lived there until I was about 6. My mom, 36F, and I moved here because my dad, 51M, lived in the US and didn't want to stay in Germany. I speak fluent German, and due to military deployment and just general relationship issues, my parents divorced and I've always been closer to my mom and her side of the family, going to Germany and visiting almost every year. I'm fluent in German, and recently, my grandparents offered to get me an apartment so I can go to a university in Greifswald. Being that I'm close to them and having a strained relationship with my dad, we are close but not that close. I want to utilize my German citizenship by studying there for free vs in the US and paying. On top of free college, I'd be closer to my uncles, aunts, cousins, grandparents, and friends, with a stronger support system than in the US. However, we've had this conversation before, with my dad going so far to say if I move to Germany, have kids, etc., he won't visit them and they'll grow up without a maternal grandfather. He'd rather me learn a third language like Dutch and move to Belgium, which I think is redundant. Him and a few of my friends have said I would be the if I take this opportunity, but I am financially independent from him, have never even gotten so much as a detention, and have lived on my own in my first year of college, 4 hours away, and not missed him at all. On top of that, my grandparents are financially well off, and we have a close relationship, and I know I'd be taken care of better than I am here currently, and if I wanted to start a family, my children would also be taken care of better than in the US. However, moving would mean leaving my dad behind and potentially ruining our already strained relationship, and I'd feel like a terrible daughter for pushing him away. I know if he wants to move to Belgium, it would be easier for me to help if I had residence in Germany as well as connections in Europe. He doesn't see it that way and thinks I am making a stupid decision and being selfish, but a majority of my friends think it is a good decision to make, and my mom doesn't have an opinion either way. I'm considering moving without his approval as I already pay for almost all of my items, pay my insurance, co-pay, phone bills, etc., and would be okay without his financial support. But I still can't get rid of that feeling that I'd be a terrible daughter. Wibta? Story 2. AITA for excluding my cousin from my upcoming wedding. My fian, 26M, and I, 25F, will be getting married in about 3 months. It's time to send out our invitations, and that means facing a dilemma I've been avoiding. There are only granddaughters in my family, and further, only 2 of us at an age where we're likely to get married soon. Myself and my cousin, Rachel, 22F. My fian and I got engaged last fall, immediately knew we were aiming for November/December of this year, and let everyone know. This past June, Rachel and her boyfriend announced their engagement, no problem. At least not until they dropped the bombshell about 2 weeks later that 1, it's basically a shotgun wedding because she's pregnant, and 2, they wanted to marry this September, 2023. The baby is due under a week after our wedding, and if Rachel is invited, she will do all she can to attend and then complain about having to be there. I'm already hurt and frustrated that we've been pushed aside in favor of Rachel's baby/wedding, and don't want to be reminded of that on my wedding day. Her parents, my aunt and uncle, will be invited, but our guest count is capped at 60. AITA for not planning to invite my cousin? Editing to add that their wedding is this month, not next year. Story 3. Wibta for cancelling Christmas. I, 31F, am tired of planning vacations for my ungrateful husband, 33M, and his twin. My husband and I have been together for 7 years, and married for 3 months. We both work high-stress jobs, with high incomes and no children. We are frugal and spend our money on savings and trips. In our relationship, I plan our retirement, keep track of finances, host friends/family, arrange gifts, make appointments, and plan our vacations. We travel a lot. For his part, he does laundry and cooks and does the dishes more than me. He gets along well with everyone and is the more easygoing one. On our trips, I've asked my husband to help me with tasks ranging from helping me plan beforehand, to finding an Uber. Usually he ignores me until it's too late and I have to make the decision, or he makes mistakes, getting an Uber to the wrong place, or forgetting beach towels I asked him to bring. Mistakes aren't a big deal, but he places the blame for them on me. This issue is not new to us. For our wedding I did 99% of the planning and he promised in return that he would plan a honeymoon. Right before the wedding he looked up a Costco package that was almost twice as expensive as we'd agreed to spend, and that didn't have guaranteed spots. What I really wanted him to do was not to find an all-inclusive unaffordable trip, that we didn't go on, but do something that was tailored to us. My husband also has a twin brother that often comes along with us. Like my husband, his twin doesn't help plan and he had never thanked me for planning trips for us. He behaves like coming on the trips is a gift to me. Outside of this, I've tried to be his friend, but I feel no reciprocity. I get him gifts for his birthday and holidays, text and call him, and include him, i.e. asking him if he wants me to write his name on a Mother's Day card when he hasn't helped pick a gift. Right now, we're all on a flight back from Hawaii where I researched hotels and flights, put together schedule, booked hikes and dinners, rented a car, etc. When I brought up the fact that they complained a lot and never said thank you, my brother-in-law said that he told me the sunset was nice and that is the same as a thank you. When I told this to my husband and explained how upset I am with both of them for not helping me, not yelling but definitely not in a calm way, he told me to F myself. My husband also said that if I cancel future trips that I'm no longer invited to my in-laws' Thanksgiving, the one thing his mom plans. I've already planned and booked an elaborate 3-week Christmas trip to Italy for the three of us. They say they want to go, while doing nothing, but I just feel exhausted. At this point, I'm considering canceling it entirely, canceling my own portion, or canceling one or both of their portions and going solo. Would I be the asshole if I took one of those paths? Dr. Burned out wife unsure about how to proceed after planning numerous unappreciated vacations for husband and brother-in-law, thinking about canceling an upcoming trip. Story 4. AITA for equally punishing my sons even though my eldest wants to take the blame. I, 44M, have shared custody of my sons, 16M, 12M, and I'm in charge of their allowance. Last month I had to leave them for the night for a quick work trip and, shocker, my eldest invited some of his friends over for a house party. I was clueless about that. When he didn't answer my texts, too busy partying with his friends, I texted my youngest. He covered for his brother and lied to me that they were alone and watching a movie. They did clean well enough not to leave any mess behind when I came back, but I found out anyway because the condo I live in is very strict about noise after 10 p.m. and I received a fine for breaching this rule. I confronted my sons and they admitted to it. I told them I would share the fine between the two of them and take it out of their allowance. My eldest asked me not to punish his brother because the party was his idea and his friends were the ones invited. He asked me to take everything out of his allowance. Also my youngest was counting on his next allowance to buy a ticket to an event, some pop culture thing, like Comic-Con, he wants to go to. I'm proud of my eldest for taking responsibility but for now sticking to my decision to split the debt between them because my youngest lied to me and, in covering for his brother, allowed the party to happen without my consent. AITA. Story 5. AITA for teasing my brother about his weight gain. I am 20 and my brother is 22. We both played sports growing up and were both always physically fit. My first year of college, however, the freshman 15 hit me pretty hard. I'm normally 5'9", around 155 pounds. Freshman year living away from home for the first time, I gained a bit of weight and weighed 173 pounds. When I came home from school, my brother was absolutely relentless about my weight gain, especially since he had stayed fit throughout college. We're decently close, but we fight all the time and it's a lot of tough love. I've always been fit, so having a bit of a belly for the first time gave my brother endless opportunity for jokes about how chubby I had gotten. I always told him to stop, but that's just how we've always joked around with each other, so even though I was sincere, he didn't really care or pick up on it, and he just kept making fun of me. I also knew that what he was joking about was pretty true. I had gotten kinda chubby, so it motivated me to lose weight. 2 years later, now, I had lost the weight and am back down to 160. My brother just graduated college in the spring and has started a new job. However, now he's the one who has put on weight. He's 6'1", and probably weighed 170 pounds throughout college. We're both home for Thanksgiving this week, and it was the first time I saw him in a while, so I was a little caught off guard to see him looking so out of shape. He's not fat by any means, just a little bit flabby, and he does have a pretty noticeable gut now. When I saw him I teased him a bit about his beer belly and that he's plumped up a lot. I was probably exaggerating, but I wanted to bring him down a peg, since he's always been so vain about his body. When I made a few. Story 6. Wibta if I told my ex's family about our daughter. My ex doesn't want kids, and when I got pregnant he dumped me. His parents want more grandkids, but my ex's siblings are done having their kids. Would I be the asshole if I reached out to his family, I've never met them, and offered to let them meet our daughter? Story 7. AITA 4. Questioning, a nurse's ability. My 9-year-old son got bit by a rattlesnake on Tuesday, on the hand, and everything has been absolute chaos. It is a nasty bite. He's already had like 15 anti-venom treatments. He has to stay in the hospital for at least 3 more days. Neither me nor his mom can stay with him 24/7, but we take shifts and he gets plenty of visitors. I guess there was an incident today where a nurse needed to sponge wash him. I guess he was getting ripe, and he refused on the account that the nurse was a female. Yes, he was ripe and needed to be washed. I asked if I could do it and they said no because I wasn't a staff. I said I understood, but maybe they could find a male nurse. The nurse walked out and her supervisor came in and was asking me why I was giving her staff a hard time. She was just trying to wash my son because he stinks and has been my son's #1 nurse. I said my son totally needs to washed. He just does not want to be washed by a woman. She said I could be in the room if that helps. I said it would help if you just got a male nurse. And obviously I'm going to be in the room regardless. She asked me why I was questioning her nurse's ability to bathe him when she's the one changing and cleaning his wound. I got annoyed and asked her if she'd be bothered by a 9-year-old girl not wanting a male nurse to give her a bed bath, and she said absolutely because it's 2023. In the end they found a male nurse and he got him fresh and cleaned. My son was a bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but it was fine after they built some rapport. And yes, my son is going to be fine. The hospital is being very conservative with treatment because snake bites are uncommon and they probably want to nickel and dime as much as they can. Edit, I'm his dad. He's more private with his mom than me. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.